You can't lie, there was that one horror movie that scared you so much as a child that you still think about it to this day, with similar emotions. Whether that be the murderous doll known as Chucky or the iconic Paranormal Activity series, here are the top 10 scary movies that ruined our childhood. I'm your host Andrew, and let's get right into this list. At a number 10 spot, we have Paranormal Activity. If you think about it now, Paranormal Activity belongs on the Mount Rushmore of the scariest movies that scared a whole lot of kids, including myself. It was such a hit, it ended up totaling $193 million at the box office with a $15,000 budget. After its release in 2007, everyone witnessed a new type of horror in the movie realm, something that looked almost real and something that made us wonder if these paranormal events could actually happen to us. If you haven't watched the movie, it follows a young couple and their experiences in moving into a new home in San Diego. After only a few days, one of them believes an evil spirit that has haunted her in the past is now back in the new home. So the husband sets up the infamous camera to record all the paranormal activity inside of the house. And this is when we get some of the most iconic scenes, especially with the ones with her staring at her husband, or even the one where you can see the husband's body being thrown to the camera. Number 9, It. If you are scared of clowns, it's probably because of this movie. This movie was the sole reason for many people developing a phobia towards clowns. And if you've watched the original films, you could definitely see why. Although it's listed as a TV miniseries, we're going to label them as a movie for the sake of this video. Many people have seen the recent adaptations of It, so the story is pretty much well known, except the 1990 version had things that the 2017 version did not. First of all, they didn't have Tim Curry. His superb acting taught everyone never to talk to strangers, or might I say clowns. His version of Pennywise doesn't appear to be outright bad from a distance, then he'll do some of the most unexpected things to catch the kids and even us the viewers off guard. This would make sense because it would actually give more reason for Georgie trusting a clown in the sewer, and his Pennywise wanted to psychologically abuse you until he went in for the final kill. And let alone, some of these scenes are so unexpected in this movie, like go check this one out. Number 8, The Grudge. This sound is the last thing you would want to be hearing before encountering the enraged spirit known as the Grudge. This movie is one well known across the world with different iterations in both Japanese and English. The Japanese one was named Ju-on, The Grudge, and was released in 2002. Then 2 years later, on December 2004, The Grudge was released in North America, and despite some backlash, it would go on to gross $187 million from only a $10 million budget. Although many argue that the Japanese one is better, I personally both have their top spots in the horror genre. Everything about this film is sure to inflict sheer terror. The Grudge draws on horrors from both the real and paranormal, since the terrible crimes committed become the cause of the restlessness, horrifying supernatural events. The Grudge is essentially a cursed spirit who is usually someone who passed away from something very tragic, which causes them to come back and haunt others. That creepy feeling that people get when the Grudge is nearby just builds more and more throughout the movie, and it seems like wherever they go, the Grudge will find them. Number 7, Final Destination. This movie was a different breed. From its iconic scenes of the most devastating accidents, the Final Destination series has definitely traumatized people from all walks of life, especially during childhood. The Final Destination franchise, created by Jeffrey Reddick, revolves around a group of people who escape death, one of them having a vision of the catastrophic event beforehand, and then trying to save them from their inevitable fates. Death, however, is not pleased with the balance of life and death being disturbed, and seeks to right the wrong by hunting down and killing those who cheated fate. And that's what's so eerie about this movie series. Apart from other horror movies, in Final Destination, there is no killer. The killer is death itself, and the whole world is in on it. While the Final Destination movies are not particularly scary in the cinema, they do leave a lasting impact after you leave the theater. And this is definitely what I got. The concept of fate and predestination may seem kind of funny, but suddenly nothing is safe after watching this movie, and you realize that the universe is a cold, uncaring place. You begin to notice the potential dangers all around you and realize that one day you will die, and there's nothing you can do about it. Number 6, The Last Exorcism. The Last Exorcism, which was released in 2010 and directed by Daniel Stam, is one of the iconic demonic possession movies of all time. For those who don't know, this movie is about a religious minister who is struggling both financially and mentally. So he decides to shoot a documentary to expose the fraud within his own ministry. Except what he finds is something a lot more real. This is when he decides to help a fellow follower named Louise Sweetser who believed his daughter was possessed. When they arrived, she really was possessed and shit hit the fan really quick. The demon that is present in the movie is Abalam, which is closely related to the Pion demon in the movie Hereditary, if you ever seen that one. Well, it's said that this guy is always close by to him because it's believed if you summon Paimon, Abalam will appear beside once you've given a sacrifice or other offerings. And in the end of the day, this movie had a bunch of scares that will leave a lasting impact on your children if you do decide to let them watch this. In the hump of our list, we have Child's Play. Everyone's favorite doll is back, and when this movie first came out, we really never thought dolls could be this scary. For those who have been living under a rock, Chucky is a murderous doll who was previously a real serial killer that transferred his soul into this doll. As a doll, he tries to act innocent, but behind the scenes, he's a psychotic monster waiting for his right time to strike. I guess another reason why Chucky is feared by many is that he's just a doll. Everyone has a doll, so this made everyone believe that their doll would just come up to life and go on a sudden killing spree. And though Chucky has cartoonish features, he feels unexpectedly human, almost like an uncanny valley type of feeling. In the end of this movie, we also see a burnt Chucky, which is even more terrifying for those who watch. Seeing him run after all these different characters all while burned up, terrifying. Not only is he fast, Chucky can overpower full-grown adults with ease, making him one of the most feared movie villains of all time. Number 4, The Ring. The Ring has made many of us keep a light on at night, and for me, it made me scared of a TV showing static, because that's how Samara attacks. Initially, Samara appears as a normal, although withdrawn young girl with brown eyes. In addition to these features, she had long brown hair and fair skin. She also wore a white nightgown. Except this innocent look was far from the reality, because as it's revealed in the movie, Samara was by far a good person. And even after her death, now in the afterlife, her soul is cursed and is now tormenting and hunting people to the end of her days. As this curse forms, Samara's hair is now dark and soaking wet, which hides her waterlogged and deformed face from when she got pushed down a well and left to pass away there. To get into her cursed form, it's said that you need to watch a cursed film of hers in which you will get a call with a raspy voice saying 7 days. She is noteworthy among other horror villains as she wields no distinctive weapon and often kills her victims off screen, and her killing methods are purely psychological in nature rather than physical. She is still creepy to me till this day, and if I ever see static on my TV, I will always think about her. All the way at our number 3 spot, we have Jaws. On June 20th, 1975, Steven Spielberg's classic film Jaws premiered, quickly becoming a box office sensation and literally making everyone fear sharks and going into water in general. Hell, I bet some of y'all were swimming in your pools looking behind you just in case there was some fins popping out. Anyways, Jaws tells the story of a giant shark terrorizing beachgoers on the fictional island of Amity off the coast of Massachusetts, and it gets pretty bloody. Its success as a film has inspired numerous pop culture references, such as a Saturday Night Live skit, a Universal Studios theme park ride, and 3 sequels. However, the movie's impact went beyond entertainment. Following its release, thousands of people began hunting sharks for sport, leading to a 50% decline in large shark populations along the eastern seaboard of North America. This response alarmed Jaws author Peter Benchley, who dedicated the latter years of his life promoting shark conservation. So in the end, would they put out this movie if they knew it would negatively impact sharks and their overall stigma? I don't think so. Well, it's too late. On top of that, this movie keys in on their unsettling music and constant fake outs when you think everything is fine, and then boom, the fins pop out and blood starts pouring. Number 2, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. This is a movie you didn't expect on this list. However, when you peel back the candy-coated exterior, the film takes a dark turn, becoming a survival horror movie that edges into the realm of torture. We all know the story of Willy Wonka, who is a candy maker and allows for 5 children and their parents to take a tour of the place. However, this tour is not your regular tour, and it eventually takes a turn for the worse. The children are unaware that inside the factory are specifically designed rooms to test their worthiness in order to inherit Wonka's chocolate fortune. These tests are not just a way to identify the child's weaknesses, but they are downright dangerous. The children are picked off one by one, much like a slasher film, and are subjected to horrible fates in various rooms. Willy Wonka himself is a pretty sinister figure with a creepy gleam in his eye and a weird smile, and he knows that most of the children are doomed. He is a wealthy industrialist who uses his elaborate and violent tests to send a message about the dangers of greed. Then we have that terrifying tunnel scene. The tunnel scene in this movie is often considered one of the most frightening scenes in a non-horror movie. Willy Wonka leads the characters onto a boat and recites a disturbing poem while flashing lights, creepy imagery flicker across the screen, including a millipede crawling on a man's face. Even the actors on set were unsettled by the intensity of Gene Wilder's delivery, resulting in the sensory nightmare for both the characters and the actors. Number 1, Halloween. Halloween came at a good time in 1978, following the slasher film hype from Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Black Christmas. What is most notable about Halloween is that the main villain, Michael Myers, kills a lot. And by a lot, I mean a lot. This movie brought pure violence to the front door of all those who were even slightly interested in horror movies. This movie was well feared from young boys and girls, where they're granted more freedom than usual, except when they believe all things are good. Everything changes in the matter of seconds once Michael Myers arrives. He is relentless, almost looking superhuman in some scenes. It seems that nothing can stop him, making him one of the most feared movie villains of all time. Imagine doing every single thing that stops someone from coming to you and they're just walking through it all. That's basically who Michael Myers is. Well, these are the top 10 scary movies that ruined our childhood. What did you guys think about this list? Leave a comment down below with your thoughts and leave some suggestions for the future. I'm your host Andrew, and be sure to click that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you never miss a future video. I hope you guys have a scary day.